Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Bay Club discussion series. This is our third episode. I am Annie Appel, Senior Executive Vice President with the Bay Club. And again, really happy to be having an opportunity to start a conversation with our members about what the Bay Club is going to look like when we resume our services. And today's episode, we are going to focus on our sports facilities, our golf clubs, our swim and tennis facilities, and our large sports resorts, and have a conversation with our members about what will those facilities look like when we return to operations. So we're going to take a moment and have everybody who has joined us today have an opportunity to introduce themselves before we start our Q&A. A reminder as you watch this, if you have a question or a suggestion for us, we'd love an email. And the email address is thenewnormal@bayclubs.com. So we're really hoping to be able to engage and get your feedback about what we're thinking and our process and be able to incorporate that in this video blog as well as on the Daily Bay. So let's start with introductions. Todd Kramer, why don't I have you start our introductions today?
Sure. Good morning. My name is Todd Kramer. I'm the Senior Vice President and General Manager of the Peninsula Campus, which includes Bay Club Redwood Shores and Bay Club Broadway Tennis. I come from a tennis background, a service provider background, taught tennis around the world for a number of different organizations, lucky enough to travel. I'm a military kid, so I love that part of life. I've been here at Redwood Shores for about 2 years. Spent time at some of our properties in Marin as well, Bay Club Ross Valley and Bay Club Stone Tree. So excited to contribute some of my experience here, and thanks for the opportunity.
Great, thank you. Maha, why don't you go next, please?
Hi, this is Maha Zein. I'm the squash director in Bay Club Fremont. And I have been with the club for more than 7 years. Yeah.
Thank you. Welcome to our video blog today. We're thrilled to have you. Robyn, why don't I have you introduce yourself next?
Hello, I'm Robyn VanDerLuit, Senior Vice President of the San Jose campus, which includes Courtside and Boulder Ridge Golf Club. I have been with Bay Club for almost 7 years. I was a member for almost 13 years prior to that, and actually worked at Courtside all through college. So Bay Club's been a part of my life for a very, very long time. I am excited to be a part of this blog video and excited to be talking to our members.
Thank you. Thank you. And Gordon, let's have you do your introduction.
Okay, Gordon Collins, tennis director at Bay Club Courtside. Had the pleasure of being here for 41 years and also head up tennis for the company. Been president of the USPTA nationally and very involved with the USTA on their national committees for the last 30 years.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to hand it off to my co-host and our CEO of the Bay Club, Matthew Stevens, to walk us through the Q&A today.
It's a tough act to follow. Gordy always throws out that 40 plus years, same facility, and it's a drop the mic situation. So we're very fortunate. Thank you for everybody for taking the time to talk with us during our discussion series here regarding the Bay Club. This is our third session, as Annie said, and we're going to do this throughout the entire month of April to try to talk about the meaningful things that our community is asking us about. What's the future of Bay Club going to look like, and how do we think about what operating under the new norm is? I don't think we look at the new norm that the new norm is going to be for the next 25 years. I think we look at the new norm of, look, this pandemic situation and the health situation is going to require a social distancing environment that's going to need to be in place. You know, if you try to put targets on it, there's going to be things that need to be in place through sort of June, July. There's going to be things that are going to be in place until, if potentially the children go back to school in September, and it may launch itself all the way out to sort of January 1. Will it change society completely? You know, we're going to say arguably yes and no. Yes, everybody's going to be more thoughtful regarding health and safety. and cleanliness and ways to prevent this from ever happening again. But I don't think we don't think you're going to be going to a Giants game or a Warriors game and having only one person per every third seat attending those setups. We think there will be concerts and there will be restaurants that will have great patrons and hotel rooms will be full, and the world will get back to normal once we figure out what that new normal is. At Bay Club, we look at it as one of the leaders of this industry to take the responsibility to lead the way on allowing the active lifestyle space to get back and starting to move, and to allow our community to come back in the doors, but with very strong thought process regarding what the new norm needs to look like and how we think about providing a safe haven for our customers in our community. And we talk about our business as fitness, sports, family, and hospitality. Today, we're really diving into sports. I'm fortunate to have two rock stars on the sports side of the world, on the service provider side, with Gordy Collins and Maha Zein, and then two of our top operators in the field that run two of our biggest campuses in the South Bay of Northern California. And we're going to really talk about how do we think about tennis, squash, basketball courts, swimming pools, golf facilities, things like that, and how can our community benefit from those assets to allow everybody to start to move again. We're very confident that the active lifestyle is an essential part of the community, and it needs to start to breathe again, and people need to trust that they can come to complexes like ours and have a safe haven, can be proper social distancing, but not unlike the grocery stores and the drug stores that have been able to provide an essential service. We really believe that the active lifestyle category and exercise is a very, very important part of where we're headed. So with that, I'm going to start to go around the horn and we'll talk about the different things that I'd like the crew to give you their opinion on. We'll have a little bit of back and forth. So I'm going to start with Gordy. He is, Gordon Collins is, a heart and soul of our tennis world. We, are so fortunate that we have so many veterans on our team that have been with the company and with their properties for 20, 30, 40 years, and we have produced some of the top tennis programs in the country. Gordy's got a very good handle on how the USTA is thinking about things, has been participating in a major contributor on a national, if not international basis to the thought process on how tennis is going to come back alive as we sort of reopen the services for customers. So Gordy, let's start off with, your thought process on, what are you hearing in the tennis world, and give us a thought process as we break it down to just specifically courtside. How do you think this starts to play itself out?
Well, first of all, one thing a lot of people don't really realize is the tennis court takes up 7,200 square feet. If you're playing singles, that means you're on 3,600 square feet, and you've got quite a bit of distance away from your opponent. And even playing doubles, that should still be, rarely do we get within 6 feet of our opponents. But going forward, what we're going to see is at least for the next 3 months, the USTA is going to be probably shutting down all competitive sanctioned tournaments and leagues. So for the club level, we'll be offering more social tennis. We'll be, probably asking people to bring their own can of balls. So if I'm playing with Joe, Joe would bring his can of Penn balls. I would have my Wilson balls. And whenever we served, we could just be serving with the can that we brought. So I think it's going to be a very safe environment, and we're looking forward to getting people back on the court.
So we've talked about a couple of things on specifics associated with this. We've talked about, the concept of maybe having individuals wear a glove, whether or not it's a golf glove or a tennis glove or a surgical glove, to just make sure that they're not actually both contacting the tennis ball at the same time. What's your thoughts on that? How's that going to impact a tennis player's capabilities if they are wearing a glove either on their offhand or on their racket hand?
Yeah, it would be on the non-dominant hand. would be, say, the ball that you would be putting in your, say, your left hand if I'm a right-handed player for the ball toss. That's generally about one of the only times, or if you're starting off a feed while you're having a rally. But yeah, that would add minimal disadvantage for the players. Wouldn't even notice it.
Okay. Then the other thing we've been talking about internally is, increasing the volume of ball feeders or tennis ball machines that we would have available to the customers, so that they could individually or have one or two people on a court working with a coach, but having a ball feeder, either it's with a coach or without a coach as part of it. How do you think that will play itself out? And will that be a good add to the overall experience?
Yeah, a 45-minute workout on a ball machine is a tremendous workout. You can really grind yourself and probably hit as many balls as you would playing with somebody else for 2 hours. You can also make it a family outing and have two people on a side and rotate, and they're not going to be within 20 feet of each other. And you have ball mowers on the courts, and those pick up all the balls. You just empty that into the ball machine hopper, and everyone's clean and ready to go.
So I think one of our plans on the tennis side of the world is we've made, given that we have such a significant number of tennis courts in the system, one, we would have the ball machines available complimentary to our customers. Number two is that we'd have a whole inventory of new balls that would be put into these hoppers. And three is that we've placed an order for over 50 new ball machines to be available. So every one of our clubs is more than well stocked with ball machines that can be available while we go through this transitional period. We know people want to get back into USTA leagues and back into competitive tennis, but we've got to be able to sort of crawl, walk, jog, run as we sort of turn the lights back on the business. And what we're hoping that you'll learn from our discussion series is Bay Club is overly committed to a number of things. One, treat our members correctly during this time period. Number two is keep our 6,000 associates employed and figure out ways to make sure that we take responsibility for their families and do right by our employees. And three, own the leadership responsibility of how this is going to work under the new norm. And the only way we can do that is to go to our rock stars like Gordy on the tennis side of the world, and he's collaborating with our entire staff up and down the coast. The good news is they're all still employed by us, so we can tap into these resources and really work hard at what we're up to from that perspective. So the great news is we have a ton of outdoor tennis courts. We do have a good inventory of indoor tennis courts. We think the same thing applies between indoor and outdoor tennis courts to basically make that available to our customers. We're going to move on to squash. Squash is going to be a little bit tighter world. Maha Zein is I'm speechless. I love Maha Zein. She is an amazing member of our squad and has just brought magic to us on the squash side of the world. She has raving fans. Maha, we're going to have a tighter space. A squash court is 18 by 32, and an individual squash match may or may not be social distancing. So what are some of the creative things you think we're working on that's going to allow people to still get on a squash court but keep the proper social distancing?
Hi, Matthew. Yeah, of course, it's a little bit hard because the squash court's small, but we have a couple of ideas, which can be for squash fitness part is very important. So we can use the parking lot and we can put some cones and we can start to do some running footwork without being inside the squash court. So that can take some time from the time using in the squash court. For the squash court, we can as well have some distance. We have like example, Bay Club Fremont, we took one tennis court. We have huge space outside. We can have some kids going or adults, one in each court, and doing some drills. There is a lot in squash. There is a lot. It's great because you can be in the squash court and improve a lot by doing some solo drills. So we can help in that. There can be only one and the coach can be outside giving instruction to do. If we're using the ball machine, I think the ball machine is going to be amazing. We can do a lot of running and training with the ball machine, which can get them I will say 50 to 70% back to the level they want to be. So once we're open, they're not starting from scratch. So I think ball machine will be amazing to help them for just by themselves to do some solo and instruction, or from us to give them some like drills to do it with the ball machine. So,
Great. So similar to tennis, our thought process is, look, we'd love to have people on the court playing squash again, but we also have to understand the social distancing. We're going to have the same issue with basketball. So, you know, whether or not it's tennis with tennis ball machines, feeder ball machines for squash, we're going to place an order for 20 ball machines and have them available for our customers so that that can be part of the structure from that perspective. And we've already placed an order for 30 basketball machines that we will have at the various clubs that allows a basketball feeding concept so people can do drills individually from that perspective. Again, same concept is that what we're, in a case of squash, we're going to ask the members to wear a glove on their offhand. So therefore that we're not touching the balls individually, and those balls are being placed into the ball machines and things like that, or that's just between the coach and the individual. And our goal is to even though we don't know whether or not it's a risk or not, we're going to go to take the highest level of environment and make it as safe as possible from that perspective. So talk to us about, Maha, give the Bay Club community just an experience. When did we open up the courts at Fremont? We built 5 courts on an indoor tennis court at Fremont. When did we open that up, and how has that squash community grown since you've moved over to Bay Club Fremont?
Oh my God, it's huge. First, thank you so much for that. We were in Bay Club Cupertino for like 6 years, and then it was amazing because I will say more than 60% from that community from Cupertino moved with us to Fremont. Plus there was some small community there for squash, and it grows so much. Like it opened in July, and by January we had the same amount in Cupertino, if not even more. And the squash community is very, I don't know how to say it, it's very attached to each other. It's really, like we have so many emails, they can't wait to be back. Everybody is asking about everybody. Kids are sending videos for them training, they can't wait to come back. So it's great community, and they will do anything like we're asking them to do, like just start to, play in your backyard at home, do some drills to come back. They are very, very committed. So it's great. Like it's very good energy in Fremont.
And then for both Gordy and Maha, I think our team has reached out to, while we're trying to get the lights turned back on and allow people back on property, we've got both tennis and squash team members creating videos and training videos for our squad that goes up on our daily day and we're going to continue to increase the amount of drills that we have for people until we can welcome them back onto our property. Gordy, is that correct?
That's correct. We've got a host of different videos that'll be getting shared with our members and should be great for everybody.
Same on your side, Maha?
Yes, we have been uploading some videos, and yes, we have more to come.
Great. Well, 2 rock star extraordinaires. The heart and soul of our businesses are the people of the Bay Club and the team that is in the field, creating smiles, creating experiences, and taking care of our 120,000 plus members that we have from San Diego to Portland, Oregon. So unbelievably appreciative of both of you guys. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Let me turn the focus over to our 2 operators who are responsible for these big campuses. I'm going to start with Robyn VanDerLuit, who oversees our San Jose campus and Courtside and Boulder Ridge, and help the community understand sort of how we're thinking about sports resorts and how those lights could potentially come on sooner versus later because of the vast amount of outdoor space that we have available to us.
Sure, absolutely. So we have 9 acres at Courtside that we can use in a very controlled, responsible way. We have 15 outdoor tennis courts. We have 3 indoor tennis courts. We have the 2 very large pool decks. and the large basketball gym. So, so much that we can do responsibly, from bringing group exercise out onto center court and, giving everyone a sound off headphone and holding classes that are spread out far enough to respect the social distancing rules. We can hold spin classes on the pool deck under large umbrellas and spread everybody out. We can host families out on the tennis courts as well, and spread them out and bring out ping pong tables and cornhole, and really create that family engagement outdoors that everybody's craving as well. Basketball, we can hold basketball drills in a responsible way, get those folks really active again. But really, 9 acres of outdoor space that we can control with the number of members that come in, and create these great experiences that they're craving and needing, frankly, out in the fresh air and the sunshine that that everybody is really trying to get out and enjoy in a responsible way right now. But in a private facility, we can maximize that opportunity and create so much more for the families.
Great. What about that little bit of green grass that we have about 6 miles away from Winchester Boulevard that sometimes people chase around a little white ball and things like that? What are the variety of things, in addition to chasing around the little white ball, we might be able to do over off of Coleman?
So 220 acres of a park is the way we see it. Families coming out and walking the paths, or riding their bikes, or sectioning off, part of the fairways for families to bring a picnic out, to bring a soccer ball, throw a Frisbee, have their own private space, essentially their own private park. We all walk around outside and see the number of people in the parks right now, and everybody trying to create their own space. Well, our members can have their own private park, and 220 acres is sure a heck of a lot of space to spread out across and take full advantage of. And really reimagining that space outside of golf, and the amount that can be done, in a very creative way to satisfy this need of fresh air, activity, and family time in a new and different way, but more importantly, in a very safe and protected manner.
It's great. Yeah, I think that when we got into golf, it's almost 10 years ago that we started the conversation of golf, and we like golf as a sport. I'm a golfer myself, and not a very good golfer, but a golfer. But I love golf. But the reason we looked at golf is that we had so much success with the sports resorts at 9 acres of land. And we said, wow, if we can have 200 acres of land with a golf course, there's a lot of other things that can be done on golf when golf sort of is done for the day. A lot of golfers want to get out at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we're very busy until 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But after that, the golf course is relatively empty. And especially now, we can have control the tee times that we would let out onto the golf course. And then the rest of the time, we have a 200-acre park that we can social distance people, create zones that families can have where they can have great exercise, or they can simply just follow the path. And it's an enormous amount of space that you get to walk, or ride a bicycle, or just figure out the different things that you want to do. And we've got all of that space to be able to make available to our members. And what you've got from us is a commitment from the Bay Club Company that we're going to make all the toys available in a safe, healthy, sanitized way. But you'll have a ping pong table, or you'll have a cornhole toss, or you'll have footballs and soccer balls and goals that you as a family can put up an area that you can use. And it's not going to cause any damage to our golf course. Our golf courses will be able to be great for golfers that go out there. But in the afternoons and evenings, in what is a pinch situation, that we need to help the community get healthy and safe, but get outside and enjoy things. The Bay Club community has these assets to be able to turn on. And we're excited about it. And we know that it's not going to turn on today, But as soon as somebody gives us the green light that we can turn that light on, we want to be prepared. So one of the reasons we kept our 6,000 employees together is we chose not to furlough the employees and put them on out. We chose to keep them together because we're like, look, we have a responsibility to this community. And I don't think, I've talked with the team, probably have worked harder in the last 30 days, and we work enormously hard to begin with. But we've worked even harder in the last 30 days to communicate with our members, communicate with our associates, and most importantly, figure out what our responsibility is to accept what the new norm is and get these clubs ready to go so that we can deliver on our promises to our Bay Club community. And, the rock stars you're seeing on this discussion series are the ones making the magic happen and getting you ready for it. So another rock star extraordinaire is Todd Kramer. I love his office. He's broadcasting with his Bay Club jerseys, both Warriors and Giants on the screen. You've got Redwood Shores and Broadway Tennis, two big complexes. Plus, you can add a little bit about Santa Clara, and let us know your thoughts on those complexes and the acreage that we control and the things we can do there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you look at the resources that we have, similar to Courtside, Redwood Shores, 9 acres of property. Santa Clara, again, great acreage there. And we're very thankful to have so much outdoor space. And, being in California, we're lucky here in Portland as well to be able to leverage that outdoor space to allow people to do what they might have previously done indoors in an outdoor setting. So, spin classes with appropriate spacing, group exercise classes, all of those options can be kind of relocated inside of our campuses and inside of our acreage to outdoor locations. That's what everybody's looking for. I think the members are very much looking to abide by social distancing. We, just like you would see at a grocery store or a Starbucks, as operators, are very thoughtful about spacing, either with dots or tape, to make sure that people, start to finish within the club, are aware of that responsibility for social distancing. We have the opportunity to relocate, fitness equipment, cardio equipment to outdoor locations. Who wouldn't want to potentially use a Concept 2 rower in an outdoor area, potentially on a pool deck with plenty of space around you to get that workout in? I think the thing that we've worked on really hard as operators is this new norm. How are we creating that structure and that safety for the membership? And a large part of that is through the ability to leverage our outdoor spaces around the campuses.
So talk to me a little bit about the aquatics. So, we've got the swimming pools. Most of our big sports resorts, our swim and tennis clubs, have the outdoor swimming pools. And, we know that lap swimming is super important to our membership base. And so that seems pretty simple from an ability to allow the members to come in and do lap swimming. The scientists are saying chlorine is definitely a positive regarding this COVID-19 virus and things like that. And so the ability for them to get in, or, we have huge groups that show up early in the morning, that we could have social distancing and a certain number of people allowed to access that. But we also can take our pools and break down spaces, not unlike a park area, where families could get into the pool and have a section, use lane lines and other things to basically break out sections that allow people to be able to experience the great part about swimming pools, given that we're not a big volume shop. We don't do we're not about having as many people as possible. We're more of a quality versus quantity type of operation. And therefore, the ability to break out the pools into sections so that people can enjoy swimming pools as we go into the spring and summer. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think the pool's set up really well in terms of being responsible with distancing. So you have that benefit of lane lines already. The structure of a pool as such that, a family could have a segment of that space to use together, toss a ball back and forth, fun activities within a pool, that we can create that structure and allow a number of families to experience that at the same time. We also have the benefit of an understanding that lap swimming and recreational use are a little bit separate in terms of timing, much like golf. You've got a lot of really early morning lap swimmers. And so the ability to pivot pools between more of a lap swimming emphasis to more of a sectioned recreational access, that exists at our properties, between Redwood Shores, pools at Santa Clara, pools at Courtside. We're able to make those switches on the fly. And again, with the availability that the members will have, just because of the new norm, to be able to come at specific times that might be more available, I think that's a huge win. When it comes to aquatics, we know that we have a lot of passionate members out there that, really look to that for their health and well-being. And whether it's a lap swimmer or a family or an individual that just want to experience that and get that benefit, that therapy, we're going to be there for them.
Great. So, in talking to the Bay Club community, the way that we're thinking about this is we realize the schools are closed right now, and, we can't predict what's going to happen, but we have to look down the road, and that's our responsibility to you. So we're looking down the road and saying, okay, if the schools are closed until September, and then that's sort of maybe the beginning of when social distancing will start to shrink a little bit, because things may be under control at that point in time. If not, and it stretches out to January, we have to think that way and be figuring out ways that we can use the Bay Club inventory. There are vast amount of services and amenities to create a safe haven for our customers. And part of our discussion series is to allow you to hear from our field team about what we are doing. Why did Bay Club keep all their employees? And why didn't they, furlough their employees like so many other operations did? Because we expect to have our lights on sooner versus later. And there's a lot of work that had to get done to get these facilities ready for the new norm. And so we are working feverishly behind the scenes to get this ready so that you have options, knowing that we don't know when this sort of world is going to adjust back and the Chase Center is going to be filled with fans rooting on the Warriors, or Dodger Stadium is going to be filled with people rooting on the Dodgers in their new lineup, or soccer fields are going to be filled with fans for the various teams that operate in our marketplace. And so we are thinking about what's the new norm short term, and then what's the norm in the future. We're always, I think everybody's going to adjust to a new level of intensity regarding cleanliness and sanitation and those types of situations that we have to deal with. And we want to be there and be your trusted source to help our Bay Club community through this. We're so appreciative of our entire membership base. And hopefully this discussion series will lean a little bit towards what are we doing to be ready for you to welcome you back to our community. So with that, I'll let AA take us to the finish line. AA?
My favorite part of our discussion series. So this is where we share what we're thankful for, and also give a little bit of support to small businesses that are, looking to create their new norm during this time of social distancing. So I'm going to kick today off with, I am really grateful for technology. It has allowed me to stay connected to my team at the Bay Club, to the members, to my family and friends. And I can't really imagine a shelter in place without Zoom, FaceTime, and Google Hangouts. So I am thankful for that today. And the business that I want to give some support to is Rocco's Pizzeria in Walnut Creek. It is owned by a member of Bay Club Walnut Creek, and they are doing really family-friendly to-go items at a great price point as well. So he's shifted his entire business to be able to support the families in the Walnut Creek community. But in addition, sent 18 carloads of meals today to John Muir Medical Center in Walnut Creek to give complimentary meals to all the healthcare workers. So also finding ways to give back, and just want to give a shout out to Rocco's. Todd, I'll hand it to you.
Yeah, thankful to be on a panel with such great coworkers and colleagues. I think, thankful for the ability to treat this challenge as an opportunity to innovate. So we're innovators in our industry, and I think that's kind of what we're all, born and bred on, is, being disruptors and making sure that we're thinking in a little bit of a different way. So the ability to take this challenge, which is real, but to be able to innovate through it, is something that's a real takeaway for me. Similarly, on the restaurant front, want to support a local business, Falafel Taza. The Redwood Shores community is extremely tight here on this side of the 101. And with the business parks that are out here, it has gotten relatively quiet, but Falafel Taza is still offering to go and take out options. They're our next door neighbor. They are members of the club. And so we're doing all we can to make sure that we spread the word that, you know, they're still open for business with healthy options. And anybody who's been there knows that it's the best in the business. So thankful for them as well.
Great. That's awesome. Maha, why don't you share with us?
Hi, Annie. Well, I'm very thankful for social media. Like on Facebook, I can see our next door. I can see how people are getting together, how people are asking the neighbors, especially the elderly, if they can go and get them some grocery and help each other, just like asking, how you doing, you know, from distance, the neighbor just trying to be very friendly, very supportive. Sharing positive things on Facebook is great, like putting a picture for your family or picture for your pets or for outdoor, just to make everybody positive and having good energy. And all the good around us, we're trying to support all local grocery shopping around us, or again, try to see what the older neighbor wants and try to help them with that. So yeah, that's how we're getting out.
Great.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Robyn, why don't we hand it to you?
Sure. So I'm extremely grateful for my Los Gatos community, our neighbors, many of whom are members. Every day somebody's calling me, you know, what do you need from the grocery store? What can I do? What can I get for you? You know, we see everybody out on their driveways and, you know, slowing down to talk to each other again, and, you know, and really just be there for each other. And, you know, I feel like I remember this time when my kids were young and everybody socialized a little bit more and talked to each other more and slowed down a little bit more, and everything has gotten, you know, so fast paced over all of these years. And I feel like we're coming back to some basics that are, you know, so integral in making the world go round, you know, just supporting each other. And the small business I'd like to call out is the Los Gatos Dog and Cat Hospital. One of our members runs it. And, you know, I'm hearing quite a bit about the challenges that they're facing right now as a small business as well. And trying to keep their employees paid and trying to, you know, be open to support the community. And, you know, many members of ours are also patrons there, and, you know, really just want to shout out for their efforts and the role that they play in our community.
That's great. I love hearing that story. Gordy, I'll hand it to you.
Okay, well, during these challenging times, I am just so proud of how our tennis community comes together here. Right now, we've got some of our USTA teams forging together, collecting snacks and meals to bring to the Good Sam Hospital, and they've got daily supplies being driven over numerous times a day. And with my daughter being an EMT and facing some of these challenges, it brings a smile to her face, and just very proud.
Wow, that is a really great way to close the show. Boss, I'm going to hand it to you for final words.
I would say, first of all, thank you to everybody for participating today. We're thrilled to be able to talk to the Bay Club community right now on a daily basis to try to give you a little bit of a look behind the curtain. From a thankfulness, I'll start with the sponsor of a local business. I'm going to go down to Los Angeles and to our Los Angeles folks. In Pacific Palisades, we have a restaurant in our Palisades Club called Pure Energy Cafe. Rodrigo has been there for many, many moons and has a great staff. They are doing takeout food, and they're extremely popular in the Palisades community. So I'd ask you to remember that they're open and they're doing great takeout specials on a daily basis. As far as my being thankful, other than being thankful for the great team that I get the chance to work with and our great Bay Club community, I'd like to shout out, we're working on the final details, hopefully going to be able to complete all of the paperwork correctly. It's a little bit, got some complications to it, but we are trying to help by putting a homeless shelter, indoor shelter at our San Francisco tennis location for the next 3 months, using our tennis barn and the first floor of the parking garage, so that somewhere between 150 and 300 individuals can have shelter during this time. It's been a pleasure working with the city of San Francisco and their team, trying to figure out how to make this happen. And yesterday I made a comment of how many people are involved to make that work from that perspective. So I'm going to continue to shout out to the governments and the different county services. We are trying to work with each one of the counties that we operate in to see what we can do to help, in addition to getting our clubs ready to be able to welcome our Bay Club community. So my shout out is continue to thank the counties for all the work they're doing. It was a very gutsy call to lock down and put a stay at home, shelter in place process. We're starting to see the positive benefits of that. And you got to give a shout out to everybody who was responsible for making that call. So thank you for keeping us safe and allowing us to have an environment that hopefully in the future will start to open up. And as you're hearing from our discussion points today, we're trying to be ready to help both with the community and for our members. So AA, it's all yours.
So again, I'd like to close with saying thank you. And we really appreciate being able to have a conversation with our members. As a reminder, if you have any suggestions or questions or feedback for us, we'd love to hear from you. The new normal at bayclubs.com is where you can reach us, and we will be answering those questions and bringing your ideas to our discussion in the future. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you for your continued loyal membership. Bye.
Bye.